Good afternoon. Welcome to the Miami Condo Investing monthly meeting for the month of December. I'm Peter Zalewski. I'm the founder. I'm a consultant. I've been in South Florida since 1993. I'm a former journalist. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about what's going on in the market. We're about 3 weeks out from the Florida Condo Association Financial Cliff. Deadline is January. And what does all that mean? Well, things are changing. Things are going to change dramatically. And as they all start to change dramatically, there's going to be opportunities. There's also going to be pitfalls that are in and around for a variety of different people. So I want to get into some of those details. I also want to talk about what's going on with valuations in some of these various condos that are all in and around South Florida, trying to get a handle and a sense as to what's going on in terms of pricing. Before we get started, before we get into some of the details, let me go ahead and kind of lay out the rules of engagement. What we're going to do first and foremost is I'm going to talk about some of the issues going on with the club, good issues, or I guess not issues, opportunities. Also going to talk a little bit about our preferred vendors. I will talk about the upcoming events, including the meetup that's going to be going on next week on Tuesday. It'll be from 5:30 to 8 in Greater Downtown Miami. Then I will get into the presentation. Initially, I'm going to talk about the legislative actions and the measures that kick into place come January the 1st. And then after that, I'm going to follow suit talking about valuations of condos in the various markets of South Florida. So we'll take a look at South Florida, which is Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. We'll then look at Miami-Dade County, and then we're going to go to Broward County, and then we will wrap it up with Palm Beach County. The way that this monthly meeting is going to go is we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. We'll give you an opportunity to make comments. Now, the way you're going to do it, at least right now, is you're going to do it via the text. There's a chat line on the right-hand side of your screen. If you get in there, you can comment. If you want to say. I, unfortunately, am not going to be able to take a look at that until probably about 12:50 or so. So 12:50, I'll start the glance at it. I'll give you a heads up. And then right at 1 o'clock, I will get into all of your questions. I'll read all your statements, and we can kind of take it from there. Should have it done by about 1:15 or so. I'm very respectful of everybody's time. As a result of that, you can stay till 1 o'clock, or you can stay as long as you can. That's great. Not to worry. We'll have a video copy of this podcast. It'll be available on Friday. It'll be emailed to everybody because you're a club member. You'll have an opportunity to take a look and watch it all. And by the way, if you want to go back and look at some of the previous monthly meetings, feel free to do it as well. Just make sure when you go to the website, and I did some forwarding on the URL. So now that's all you have to do is type in miamicondo.club, miamicondo.club. You go there, make sure you're logged in. The way you know if you're logged in or not is if you see a paywall. If you're scrolling around, you see a paywall, that means you're not logged in. Simply enter in your username, which is your email address for the most part, and then a password, and you should be good to go. I don't handle any of that. That's all handled by the software provider, which is called Substack. So Substack's the one who will handle that, as well as payments. Any kind of payments that are made, I'm not going to handle any of that. That's all a third-party type of situation. My real focus is going to be on the content side. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about the content. I pull the data. I review the data, I analyze the data, and then I write and I speak about it. Talking about speaking about it. We were fortunate enough on Monday, and we're recording this on Wednesday. On Monday, we were featured several times on CNBC. That's the financial news network, international news network. Diana Holick, who's a senior real estate correspondent for CNBC, she did a number of pieces taking a look at what's coming come January. Came to us. We gave her and all of the viewership of CNBC a bunch of stats just to give them some context, some idea as to, what's kind of coming down the pike, what people should be watching for. As a result, we got bombarded with a lot of interest. There's a lot of people who maybe have just joined the Miami Condo Investing Club. And if you've just joined us, I would welcome you. I will promise to you, you're going to get straight talk. But we don't necessarily sugarcoat anything. For the good or for the bad, but we'll give you real perspective. We'll tell you our sources. We will also take criticism. If you have any questions, you have any complaints, you want to debate, any of that type of stuff, I would encourage you to do so. To give you a recap, because we do have quite a few new members, What I would tell you is that you're going to see all our reports. I typically do 4 to 5 reports a week. I also distribute a newsletter. That newsletter ideally was going to be coming out on Friday, but the way that the work schedule's been, and it's been a little bit chaotic, that's not coming out on Sunday. I try to get it into your email box first thing Sunday morning. Back in the day, you'd wake up on a Sunday, at least some did. You wake up on a Sunday, you get a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, which you shouldn't do anymore. Now everybody vapes, and you grab your newspaper. Well, the concept of the newsletter is possibly to help you meet that fix you have, if you will, on a Sunday as you slowly start to get into the before football. If you're an NFL fan, if you were a Miami Dolphins fan, there's not too much to look for. But that being said, so new members realize there's going to be about 5 reports a week that'll be published. They will be encapsulated in the newsletter, which is called the Miami Condo Market Intelligence Report. I've been putting that thing out for 17, 18 years or so. Once a month on the second Wednesday of every month from 12 to about 1:15, we do these monthly meetings, which is basically an opportunity for me to sort of throw out some of the biggest trends, some of the biggest ideas that are popping up as I'm going and doing all this research. Once a month during the winter buying season, we're doing a meetup. A meetup is an in-person event where basically everybody gets to come together. There's a cash bar, there's discounted drinks, discounted appetizers, if you will. And people can sort of just, kick it around. Our membership is approaching some of the vicinity of about 70 or so. So it's not big, but we've been around for about 9 to 10 months, and it's growing increasingly. We're not going to ask anybody who comes to the meetup, one of these physical situations. We're not going to ask you what you do, what you're all about. If you want to offer it. If you don't, you don't. It's not really a sales pitch. It's more so an opportunity for people who are not like-minded, but have a common interest to get together and talk shop with other people who are probably pretty savvy and have some institutional knowledge about, what's kind of going on here. So you have that. Now, increasingly, many of you are reaching out to me and you're saying, listen, I want to take a look at it. I'm a DIYer, do it yourself. I want to try to do it, but maybe I'm running into some issues, or it's too much work, or realtors aren't calling me back, anything like that. Well, in situations like that, I could turn you over to my partner, Jenny Workdes with CDR Realty. She can sort of work with you. Now, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm effectively trying to be Levi's during the California gold rush, where if you need things to go and look for gold, I'll try to provide that to you in the form of information, consulting, access, videos, that type of stuff. But if you do need certain things, keep in mind, chances are, because I've been down here and Jenny's been down here so long, we're probably going to know kind of, point you in the right direction. We'll give you a couple different options. Do with it what you want. Now, you happen to be one of these people who just wants more and more and more besides just, kind of DIYing it. You want somebody to kind of be that consigliere, of counsel. I am available for that. That would fall under what we call a Founders Club membership. For that Founders Club membership, basically you pick up the phone, you give me a call. If I don't answer right away, I'm going to return to your comments pretty quickly. Also throw in an hour of free consulting. If you want me to analyze something, I can go ahead and analyze it. And in addition to that, private events. These are kind of VIP events that are offered to founding members. We just had one in December talking about the 2025 Condo Investing Club. We charge a large amount for that because it's a small closed room, 6 to 8 people type of situation. But if you're a founding member, you are invited to come to all of them. I just put together a schedule. I'm going to talk about that shortly in terms of some of these events. The one we'll be doing kind of a small VIP will be in January, about the middle of January, and I'll sort of hit on that quickly. So that's an overview about kind of what we're doing with the club. I thought that was important to throw out to you. And what I'm going to try to do, and we're taking a little bit of a different approach this time, I'm going to try to share a screen with you. And, let's see if I can figure it out. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer when it comes to technology, but I will give it a go. So let me try to just share the screen real quick before we start our presentation. Here we go. I'm looking for that. Yep. And it looks like we are sharing. So let me go down and hit on a couple key points. I want to talk about some of our preferred vendors. Now, some of you, you're in the game, you're trying to play, you want to do it on your own, you want to pay a real estate commission, which I don't blame you. If you can save 3% or 5%, 100%. Sometimes, though, you run into situations where you want to know somebody who's legitimate, they're vetted, and somebody who vouch for them in terms of some of the services they offer. So all these people are club members. I've known her for quite some time, and I just want to throw them out there to you. We got Clarita Rosa. She's with Candor Title and Closing. So you need any kind of closing work, escrow work, reach out to her. I vouch for Clarita. We also had Ann Christine Carey. Ann Christine Carey is an urban planner. So if any of you are doing things you shouldn't be doing, let's see if I can get this screen to come down. Yep, there we go. Ann Christine Carey, Miami 21 zoning entitlements. Any of you are doing things you shouldn't have been doing, you got a red tag. Inspector shuts you down. Maybe you want a piece of dirt and you want to get entitled. Maybe it's a situation where you want to know what can I actually put up on this site because I want to sell it. Feel free to reach out to Ann Christine Carey, Miami 21 Zoning Entitlement. We also had Andres Alvarez. Andres has a company called 38 Quality Services, Construction and Remodeling. So basically, Andres is a contractor. If you get yourself into a situation where you need some work done, small or large, feel free to reach out to Andres. Top notch, shows up and gets the work done in time. Continuing down my list, I'm going to have Jose Suarez, Global Inventory Liquidators. Jose basically buys out companies that are either closing or they're unloading a bunch of their inventory. He buys it for pennies on a dollar. He puts a small spread on it, and then he resells it. All this stuff is new, but he resells it at a deep discount to anybody who might be coming down the pike. Type of product he deals with, everything from restaurant equipment to lawn furniture to interior types of design stuff. So Jose Suarez, Global Inventory and Liquidators, Global Inventory Liquidators. And then finally, Stephen Mussolino over at Casa Tile, Casa Linda Tile and Marble. They were the first tile company out in the Durrell area, in what they call now, I think it's the Durrell Tile and Marble District or something of that sort. Basically, if you need tile, you need marble, anything like that. Steve has been doing it for quite some time. His father started the company back in the 1970s. Might in fact been 1970. So they've been around, they're known, and give you a straight talk. You drop my name or Miami Condo Investing Club to any of them, and hopefully you get a very receptive response. I'm going to continue on with this real quick just to make sure I don't miss anything. I mentioned to you the dates of our meetings. This is our next meeting. It's going to be January the 8th. January the 8th. Remember, we do these monthly meetings on the second Wednesday of every month. They start at 12. They go to 1:15. And then I mentioned to you the meetups. This is the schedule for the meetup. Next one is the 17th. It's a Tuesday, 5:30 to 8. And then from that point forward, it's going to be always on the third Tuesday of the month. And then finally, I mentioned Founders Clubs. This is sort of the VIP. This is somebody who kind of wants me to call. I'm always available to take their calls, and if not, I get back to them immediately. I can provide consulting services to analytics, stuff like that, specifically for their project. These are the events we have scheduled. So we're going to be doing them roughly every 3 to 4 weeks through the winter buying season. Now, anything else I have here before I discontinue the share? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and discontinue the share, and then we are going to get into our presentation. There we go. All right. Good. I'm set to go. So here we are. It's 12:15 roughly. I'm going to talk for about 45 minutes. We're going to hit a lot of stuff. I gave you all supplemental charts. I gave you links to supplemental charts in the email that I sent you. Feel free to go and open it up right now or keep it in the back burner. I'm also going to try to show it on the screen for you, just to kind of make it a little bit easier to kind of go through it. But again, we were going to address it. We're going to talk about what is the the 2025 Florida Condo Association Financial Club. We're going to talk about some of the nuances of it. From there, we will get into valuations because obviously everybody is paying attention to this club and reading some of the stuff that, we have to say, because there's potentially a lot of opportunity, but more importantly, a lot of pitfalls that are kind of to be out there. So I'm going to tell you what my perspective is. Now, I will tell you, I have a reputation for being chicken little, if you will, but the only people who say I'm chicken little are the ones who aren't running the data. If you run the data, chances are you will come up with many of the same conclusions I do. You might have some variations of it, but, the data is kind of my perspective. And if there's collateral damage because of that, i.e. a pre-construction condo project not being able to sell at the same velocity or achieve the same pricing as a result of the data, well, that's the market. The market will sort it out. So again, We're going to do legislative side. I'll keep it real simple. I'm not an attorney. I'm not practicing law. I read the law. I'm making it available to you in videos and other stuff that I'm going to refer to shortly, but just want to put that on the books. What exactly do I do, if any of you are asking? I've been licensed state of Florida for real estate since 1995. The reason I got my real estate license is at the time I was a journalist. I was a full-time staff writer. I was writing about real estate and other things. I felt as if I was getting hoodwinked or hustled by some of the real estate people out on the street. And I wanted to understand really what was going on. I should say my parents back in Chicago, which is where I grew up, they were involved small-time real estate investment. They would buy places, rehab them, they'd rent them out. Ultimately, they cashed out, did very well, moved to Asheville and bought some real estate and have done very well with that up until, the disaster we just had, or they just had, with hurricane. I think it was, Milton. Milton is the one that kind of hit. So basically, that's my background. I did journalism 13 years. I was writing about banking. After banking, I was setting up a buy-side brokerage. And that buy-side brokerage was based on using data to look for opportunities. This was before big data was a thing. And lo and behold, I've adjusted sort of along the way. I set up a company called Crane Spotters. We were tracking all the new construction stuff going on. And now here we are with this 2025. But the common denominator and everything I'm telling you is it's always been about the numbers. It's always been about being able to substantiate it. And that's why I do extra witness work. Beginning on a witness stand, ask me a bunch of questions. The only thing I can do is tell them what I know. And one of the reasons I know what I know is I like to do the work myself. I don't like to outsource it to others and have them sort of tell me what they think, because sometimes the nuances are kind of really where you pick up some of the secrets, if you will, to the marketplace. That's enough about me. Let's get into the 2025 Florida Condo Association Financial Club. Let's get in a time machine. We're going to go back to June of 2021. Pandemic was still running wild. Although the state of Florida was one of the open states, if you will, no mask. As a result of that, a whole variety of people came down here. We were humming. We were doing a bunch of different things. And as it's all going on, real estate sales are taking off and people are coming down here to work on police cars. They're in spring break. You didn't have to wear a mask. As all that's going on, we had this disaster. A tower collapsed in Surfside. Surfside is a community, a small community. It's a town or a village, basically one of the smallest municipalities, if you will, in Miami-Dade County. Tower collapses, and this tower collapses on the barrier island. Now, if you don't know Miami very well or South Florida, let's just sort of give you context. We have the Atlantic Ocean, we have a barrier island, we then have a bay, Biscayne Bay, as well as an intercoastal waterway, and then we have the mainland. So Miami Beach is going to be on the barrier island, Bell Harbor will be on the barrier island, Sunny Isles Beach will be on the barrier island, and so will be Surfside. Greater downtown Miami, that's over on the mainland, Wynwood, mainland, Coconut Grove, mainland, Coral Gables, mainland, Doral, mainland. So that's kind of how it breaks out. So tower collapses. As a result of the tower collapsing, there's all kinds of investigations going on. Ultimately, 90 people are determined to have died. There's about $1 billion settlement that's paid out to the families of the victims, and the feds get involved trying to investigate what's exactly happening. Why did it happen? We got to make sure this doesn't happen again, was sort of the MO, if you will. Now, the state was doing its thing, the local government was doing its thing, but the feds basically grabbed control. One, they probably want to understand it, but two, you got to kind of wonder about what you're going to get from local municipalities, if you will, and local entities, if you will. When the feds get involved, it tends to be serious, is the way I would sort of put it out. So fast forward to where we are today on the eve of 2025. What happened is the Florida legislature made a number of steps to try to ensure that this thing does not happen again. And many of the steps, I would argue, were driven by and forced upon by the insurance industry. The insurance industry, basically, if they are going to back a building, they're going to back you, they're going to back anything. They want to know exactly what they're getting into. And as a result of that, the only way they can figure out what they're getting into is to have some transparency. The thing about condos associations is there is no transparency. This is a system set up to benefit owners and benefit associations. How? Why? They don't share information. Obtaining information about condo associations is very, very, very difficult, including for lenders, including for insurance companies. What do I mean by that? Well, typically, if you're going to get financing for one of your condos, and I'm not a financier, I'm going to just tell you like on the street type of stuff. If you're going to try to get financing for a condo, your lender is going to ask for what's called a